Hello, hello, beautiful people. Um, Welcome to How to Create Your Own Business Plan. If you can or cannot hear me, please let me know. I'll just wait for a few more people to trickle in. I wonder if I should just get started. Oh, okay. We have someone. Hello, Nathan. Um, so for today, I'm going to try to make it as interactive as possible. So it is up to you to help us choose a company and what kind of products we're going to sell, how we're going to sell them. This is all entirely you guys. If you have trouble hearing me, let me know because I am in a classroom. I couldn't find anywhere else to go. Um, Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. So I might as well get started. So does anyone in the room currently have any project that they want to try to see if it's a viable startup or um, yeah, something along those lines? Does anyone want to volunteer anything? If not, I do have. I tried doing a startup a few months ago. Um, cool. A branding startup is my idea. Okay, cool, 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 cool. Ooh, I wonder if I can have a background on the virtual background. That's super cool. Okay, I just want to make sure you don't see the rest of the class. One second. Awesome. That should be good enough. Alrighty. So, to those who are coming in late, I am asking for volunteers. Ooh, Kubrick, I see you again. Hello, hello. Um, if you have a company that you want to start or like have a project idea that you want to pursue, let me know if that's something you're interested in like volunteering, and then we can work together on it. Might even want to put you on the stream if you want. Woohoo! Someone likes this workshop. Yay! Let's see. If I do not have any volunteers, I'm gonna. Let's see. Do we want to use my project? Do we want to use an MLH project? Maybe someone has one of the answers to the challenges. Videography business. Ooh, that looks interesting. So, so one of the things that this document applies not just to um, companies like regular businesses, small businesses like restaurants, services, consultants, but it also applies to startups. And the difference between a business and a startup is a little like the line is a little blurred. Um, if it's something novel, if it's something new, like you're inventing something or you're creating a new application, that would be considered a startup. Whereas if you're doing something that has been done a bunch of times before, like videography, that would be more on a small business, as opposed to a startup. Now, do we want this workshop to focus on startups, or do we want this workshop to focus on businesses? Both work. It's all up to you guys. Again, this is all for you. So um, we're following what you guys want to learn. And then here and then I'll drop some nuggets of wisdom in terms of how to make sure that you have a good business strategy, stuff like that. I've been to a couple of accelerator programs that help you with business stuff, though I have not taken a business class yet. Might consider an MBA, who knows? My GPA might not agree with me though, but that's okay. Um, I do not have any. So I have a branding startup and a videography business startups. So they're very difficult to get off the ground, and business plans are so vital. That is so true. Um, I want to set my people. I'm sorry. So I want to set up a community interest company to encourage Filipinos into tech. I have registered a URL for this. Awesome. Also, if you are a Filipino and this is why you are um, helping Filipinos, more power to you. I love it. I'm a little biased. Um, I will share the template. I will actually, so you can make a copy of this as it is right now. But my plan was going to be everyone contributes to the business plan. We'll go over it together, etc. Um, I will post so I'm posting the edit link to the Google Doc. Oh wow, that's spam. That's totally okay. So this is the link to the business plan. If you just want to make a copy of it, that's totally okay. If you want to help me start the company, that's totally okay too. Kubrick is not Filipino, but he has a place in Cebu. That's where my stepdad's from, but I'm personally from a province, not a province, a city called Cagayan de Oro. Tiny little tidbit there. Um, so yeah, we have the company name, team. I'm just gonna put myself here, and anyone else who wants to join in, put your name here. Um, yeah, and then let's see. If we go with, I think so Rogue. I'm gonna call you Rogue. We can go over their videography business. Um, do you want to hop into the stream with me, or do you want to type in your details? I don't know how viable this plan is. Let's think. I want to make it as interactive as possible, but I want to make sure that it's um, effective use of our time. So another thing that I can do is just use something that um, yay, we have Rohit. Rohit. If I butcher it, I'm so sorry. Um, cool. So we have the cool. So Rogue is going to type in the details. So we have videography. And then if you have a name, okay, um, if you have the name for your company already, let's put this here. Otherwise, I'm going to call it videography for now. I'll go into what the executive summary is. So, quick disclaimer: I got um, this business plan template from Trello, but the Small Business Association, the um, business bureau for better businesses. A lot of these different organizations have. Please don't delete everything. These freckled film. I like that. Freckled film. Cool. And then we'll add row here. So the executive summary is kind of like the abstract of your business plan. This is the part where it's a summary of everything that you've written in all the many other pages of your business plan. And I would strongly suggest doing it last. I know it's the first thing that people see, but if you do it last, you're just copying everything that you've already written out and summarizing it in your executive summary. So we have product service description, marketing and sales, development, operations management, finances, and offering. Offering being like what you're giving the investors, since this business plan is geared towards investors. Um, for the company overview, we would have an introduction of like I'm turning this into bullet points, just so that um, we're going to turn this into a bullet point style business plan, just so we can go over it pretty quickly. So, videography business. And the mission statement is a summary of it would be like what you're trying to accomplish and why. This is usually 1 to 2 sentences, and then yeah. So, for example, I'm gonna start making stuff up. I'm sorry to Rogue if I butcher anything. I think one way that we can be a little quicker about this is if I kind of off the seat of my pants make this a company with details of my own. But yeah, so a mission statement is what you're trying to accomplish and why. Let's say I want to freckled film aims to create movies that empower and inspire. That is very vague. That is a little cheesy. Um, Awesome. So we haven't started the business plan. This could be a good way to get you started. I hope it helps eventually. So this is an example of a mission statement. It lets you know what the company is doing. So they create movies, and then why they're doing it to empower and inspire. The history and current status would, since we're starting out, we're just gonna ignore this. Alt Shift 5. Cool. We're gonna ignore it since we don't have a history yet. Um, Markets and products. So this would be the entertainment industry, and your product is movies. Now the objectives. So this is just explaining what you are trying to make. Um, Pretty self-explanatory for now. We're not getting into the nitty-gritty yet. Objectives would be what you are trying to accomplish. So this can be something like um, number of viewers. This could be number of positive reviews. So objectives are like similar to how you have SMART goals. Having SMART objectives means that they're measurable. So if you have metrics, that's really good. Um, what else? Having clear cut, I know how to get there kind of objectives is also a good thing. I can see myself lagging. I am so sorry. I hope the audio is still good enough. Since we're just looking at a document for now. Let me know if you guys have any problems. Let's see. Number of positive reviews. Um, how many movies to make. etc. Thanks, Goob. Um, what else? What other objectives do you think we can have? If we were making a film studio. Yeah, it's a film studio. Yep. Let's stick with three for now. So for the product and service description, so we would say we're making movies, but what kind of movies? So do we have specific genres? That's something that you can add. If we can twist this around a little bit. Um, I'm gonna move away from Rogue's original idea, and I'm gonna turn this into something that looks more like a hackathon project. Um, Freckled film recommender. So let's say that your product is just because I was trying to make it into a product, like an actual software that we could use. So let's say you built a recommendation system that you made yourself that isn't, because if you make a startup out of like using cloud services, it doesn't uh, have a strong of a back, like you won't have as much backing unless you made it yourself. So let's say you built a recommendation system for movies, um, videography business. um, no, oh okay, so this makes me a little iffy because videography includes editing and post production, streaming media. So I guess that still counts as no, that's a service. So the difference between a product and a service is that a product is something tangible, not necessarily physical, but something that you give away, you sell, whereas a service is something that you do. So in this case, the videography would be a service as opposed to a product. I think that's still cool. I think that's still cool. We're good. We're good. I went on a tangent, but we're totally okay. So we have movies. We have if you have a specific genre or a specific length, like if it's short film versus um, full length movie, full length features, something like that. Um, Nathan also mentioned that it includes video production and post production. So we could add in our business plan that we are offering pre and no, I don't think there's a pre production, um, post production editing, um, retouching. I am making stuff up unless someone has better ideas about videography. Post production editing, retouching, SFX and VFX, that's sound effects and video effects. Um, is there anything else? Let's keep it there for now. Now the market comparison is something like how do you compare with your competitors? Like in the market of videography and making films, how are you different from your competitors? What is Twitch a videography business? So videography, based on the description that you gave earlier, is the creating and editing of films or moving images. However, Twitch doesn't make their own content, they just allow other people to post their own content. Therefore, can someone, by the way, copy and paste the Google Doc link for Ryan, I'm sorry. Um, but the yes, so the market comparison is comparing yourself with your competitors. They, it's a little brief, because if you see in the industry and marketplace analysis, it becomes way more in depth. But market comparison is like, um, how much is your total overall? I remember this. I'm going to make a quick detour and look at a pitch deck that I made a long time ago. This is a sneak peek on what it's like to go to investors. Since I'm turning this into a straight up entrepreneurship workshop instead of just um, making a business plan. So, this is my pitch deck. Um, so, this part, wait for it. This part is a market comparison. Overall addressable and target markets. So your overall market is like the entire industry. So for um, Rogue's videography business, that would be the entire entertainment industry, like all the movies, everything, including like, I don't know, Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's the entire thing. Whereas the addressable target market is where you are able to reach. So, for example, for Rogue, let's say only the American market is what they're able to reach because for legal reasons, they can't make movies outside of the US. We're making that up. And then your target market would be how many out of the people that you can reach do you want to reach? Does that make let me know if that makes sense. But the target market is the thing that you need to refine very well. Like, it is unrealistic for you to try to reach every single audience. Whereas if you narrow it down and then it just so happens that everyone else is using it, but you are targeting specifically a specific demographic, that will make you more likely to succeed because you have an image in your mind of who is using your product or your service. So that's the overall addressable and target market. We're going to ignore Trello. Overall addressable and target market. Proprietary rights just means if you have patents, licenses, trademarks. Ooh, Rogue, if you have freckled film, right, and you want to be the only freckled film videography business, you might want to consider trademarking. It's like last time I checked, it's like $10 to make a trademark, and then the rest of the fees are like for registering your company itself. So if you're interested in trademarking your name, that is one thing that you should do. And then so we have that for proprietary rights, and for stage of development, we have, let's say, stage of development. I think this means, from what I remember, if I remember correctly, um, whether you are pre-seed or seed A, etc., or um, publicly traded. So those are some options for what stage of development you are. Pre-seed is like, so from the term seed, that's like the very first funding that you're ever gonna get. This is startup terms, not necessarily business terms, like small business versus startup. Remember, um, pre-seed is before you've received any funding whatsoever. You are still making your business plan, you are still planning out your pitch deck, etc. These things are pre-seed, and then once you have your initial funding from like angel investors or venture capitalists, then you go into seed rounds like seed A, seed B, seed C. Um, those are different rounds where, okay, I'm going to reach out to these specific people and ask them for money. Yeah. And then one round counts for like however much money you get. Um, from there, um, we'll talk about exit strategies, but one exit strategy is being a publicly traded company. Um, that means that you have stocks, you are on NASDAQ or the New York Stock Exchange. And yeah, I think those are the two definitions for being a publicly traded company. Now, does anyone have any questions so far before I go into the very research heavy analysis section of the business plan? Going once. I want to make sure that everyone is cool before I move on to the next ones. But if everyone's cool, I can keep going into the analyses. Cool. Silence means no. So the industry analysis is so remember how I said we had we had total addressable and target markets. The industry would be research on your total overall market. Um, this includes, let's say, you what other people are doing, what are the trends. So trends here would mean like like for example, blockchain and web3 are the trends right now, alongside metaverse and mixed reality. So those are different trends where like it's becoming more and more popular, whereas a previous trend would have been artificial intelligence and machine learning. That started off, there was a big boom, and then now everyone's using it. That is a trend. So research what kind of trends are in your industry, and so the reason so and that will go into part B, 4B. The reason why this section is super duper important is because you as an entrepreneur, you as a business owner, need to know the industry, the market, who your customers are, who you're competing against, like the back of your hand. Because when you're talking to investors, when you're talking to other people, when you're pitching your product, they might ask questions and you have to know the answers because this is your baby, this is your company. You have to be prepared to. It's starting to get loud. Um, this is yeah uh, this is like super duper important so you understand your company like the back of your hand. So going into market analysis, we have this goes into your target market. Research on your target market. Same thing, what other people are doing. Nice. Are doing trends, etc. And if anyone has any questions about the overall versus target market, feel free to put it in the chat. Um, I'm very good about trying to make this interactive, but it's a little hard to make it interactive as no one's interacting. So please don't be afraid to ask questions, make comments. It's totally okay. So we have customer analysis. This is a personal favorite of mine. Customer analysis means who are you trying to sell to? Who are you trying to sell to? What demographic? So some people, like UX researchers and product designers, um, best followers, primes, and viewers on my stream.store. Okay, cool. Cool. So one pitfall that a lot of UX researchers or um, what UX researchers or product designers are um, one pitfall that they fall for often is only looking at demographics. So, for example, if you only care about the age, maybe the race, or the gender of your target market, that doesn't really say a lot about who your target market is. Like, for example, I remember if you are selling baby products, do you mean babies that are below 1 year old? Do you mean babies that are 2 to 5? Those aren't babies anymore. So the point that that example was trying to say is like, you may think that the babies are your customer. However, who is actually buying your product? It's the parents of those babies, not the babies themselves. So your target, your customer analysis needs to be on those parents, not on the babies. Um, Another thing would be what psychographics. So that's the other half of oops. These go under key personas. I really enjoyed doing this when I was in my product management class. Key personas are, you make up a fictional character that represents who your customer is. Maybe one or two characters, and that is kind of what you keep in mind. For example, when you do your marketing, in your marketing, you know that you're targeting like young adults, for example, then that dictates what your style is, what your verbiage is, what your tone is. And that's why it's super important to do this. So we have what demographics, psychographics I haven't gotten into yet. Um, these are things that your customers have in common that aren't physical or aren't phenotypic. Like, do they like going to school? Do they like collecting stuff? Do they? Oh, so if you have a startup that is kind of like an eBay but for collectibles specifically, um, psychographics would be, oh, they all like Yu-Gi-Oh, or they all like Funko Pops. Um, or another psychographic could be they're all very cautious. So one thing that would signal is that you need to be a little more you need to work a little stronger on your um, security, cybersecurity. Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. Sorry, I'm a little frazzled, but thank you for bearing with me. And then key personas. Okay, we have competitor analysis. This is more on your competitors. So, who are your competitors? What are they doing? What makes you different from them? That's also something important. When you pitch your product or service, they're going to ask, why you? Why this product? What makes you so special? What makes you unique? Being able to answer what makes you different during your competitor analysis helps you answer that question way better. So we have that. Does anyone have any questions about our analysis before I go into marketing? Marketing isn't my strong suit, but I've learned a little bit about marketing, so I can still help with that. But I want to make sure that everyone is cool, everyone is following. I might be going a little too quickly for me for my own tastes, but I want to make sure that everyone is all right. Another way to check if people are still following, um, even just a hi in the chat to make sure that I haven't lost you would be cool. Let's see. Have I lost my folks? Still following. Thank you, Ryan. If there's anyone else, I'd love to hear from you and what you think of. Yeah, okay. Let's take a pause. What do you guys think of the business plan so far? Yay, I have a high. Um, yeah, I just want to make sure that people are okay with the business plan. I know it's a lot to take in all at once, so I don't want to overload y'all with too much information, but I also want to make sure that all of your answers are, all of your questions are answered. Okay, so the mission statement is so critical. The mission statement is also critical because you can put that on your website as like, one of those call outs that are really big font right underneath your landing page. That summarizes what you guys are doing in a very good way. In answer to this comment. Um, So very detailed. Never considered these before. So I'm glad. I hope that you do consider these when you, for example, even if you don't want to make a startup, it's at least useful for like those MLH, not MLH, hackathon project prizes where they say most entrepreneurial hack or most likely to be a startup, like those kinds of projects. You can use this business plan to make sure that you are um, more likely to get that prize. I'm just I'm trying to think of different things to engage people. I guess I don't know, but yeah. Um, we have. Oh, okay. Unless anyone else has anything to add, I want to go into marketing strategy. Um, Again, I'm no expert in marketing. That's like the one that I hate the most. Not hate, but like it's I always underestimated it. So if you're like me and you're a software engineer, comparing software to marketing, I thought, oh, marketing is so easy. You just kind of you kind of just like sell the product. It's not that big a deal. But I was wrong. Um, Marketing is much more complicated because you have to get into the user's mind and figure out what can I say to turn that person's decision into a yes. It requires, that's why some people who go into marketing have psychology degrees. Um, Marketing is my next class for my MBA. I love that you're doing an MBA. I'm kind of jealous. I think I want an MBA, but I'm also not very good at school. Um, but I feel like I would learn a lot from an MBA. So more power to you, Rogue. Um, oh yeah, so marketing. Another part about marketing is ads, for example. Oh, okay, we'll get into that. So target market strategy, um, how you plan on reaching your target market. So, for example, let's see, did we ever say who our target market was? Um, Customer analysis. Okay, let's give a very specific customer to Rogue's videography company. Um, let's say, ooh, maybe this is just off the top of my head, but what if we target college students who want to, or not young adults, who want to document special events like weddings or what other special events are there? Uh, Parties? I don't know. Oh, young adults who want to document special events is our target market for now. Um, how you plan on reaching your target market? So, for example, if we have young adults, one thing to think about is like which which social media platform do people use the most? Because like if you're going for young adults, Instagram might be the best choice, or even TikTok. If you have a way younger audience, TikTok over Instagram maybe. Whereas if you're reaching an older audience, then you might want to consider Facebook. Um, I hear you, 451 on WhatsApp, but that's like one-on-one messaging. The social media platforms that I'm referring to when you're talking to your target market is kind of like speaking out into the open, like Twitter. Um, whereas WhatsApp is like you need people's phone numbers to do that. Um, and LinkedIn would be another one. So if your product is dev tools, for example, where like you improve the user experience of developers trying to code, like GitHub Copilot. I remember there was one workshop on GitHub Copilot that would be dev tools. That would be something that you promote on LinkedIn. Um, but for this case, since we're reaching young adults, Instagram and TikTok would be my suggestion. And then um, the this is also into advertising and promotion strategy. That's where this goes. Oopsie. So there. So general plan would go under target market strategy. I'll go chronologically. Product service strategy. I don't remember what this one is. Mm, this might be like packaging or etc. Like packaging of your product. Um, Branding also goes under product service strategy. Pricing strategy. So this one I had a little bit of trouble with my own startup. It's a little like balance. You have to balance what is already in the market plus what you think, or not what you think, because we are not basing this on feelings. We are basing this on numbers. What your product service is worth. So, for example, if I'm going to turn this into a bullet point, let's say um, the editor is for each movie. This is like I am these are all fake values. But let's say it takes $50 for an editor to finish one like wedding video, and then camera and equipment. I'm pretty sure it's more than $50, but I'm gonna say $100. I know it's way more than that. Cameras are expensive, but let's say it's that, and then transportation maybe. Uh, I'm gonna assume gas is $20. Um, no, 10, because it wouldn't make sense that an editor versus their transportation is close. So let's say hypothetically, these are the only expenses. Expenses. And then we have um, market average, which would be, let's say it's $200. $200 per video. Now, what you would do then is expenses is equal to 160 and the market average is 200. If you go towards the market average, that makes your revenue, the money you make, it $40. If that's not enough for you, wait, let's see. 160 divided by, this was probably an easy 40%. No, 40 divided by 160. That's what I'm doing. So it's 25%. Um, if you price it at 200, that's 25% revenue. What that means is 25% of what you put into your, I don't know what uptime means. I don't Discord often enough. Can someone tell me what this means? I'll keep going. So that's 25% revenue, but usually people want to earn more than that because 25% out of all the work that you put in might not be the best revenue stream. But let's say you price it, if you price it at 250, that's no longer a competitive price. So people might be more likely to go to your competitor just because it's cheaper. So there's a, like I said, a balance between what's already in the market and what you think, not what you think, what you know your product is worth. Is everyone good so far? Can I hear some responses in the chat to make sure? Yup, I hear a yup. Cool. Awesome. Promo codes? I don't have anything to promote, so I don't have any promo codes. Sorry. Um, Distribution strategy. We have, this is how you're going to distribute your product. So, for example, oh, promo codes is a distribution strategy. I like that. So that's under promotion, promo codes. Thank you for that. That's another way to promote. People always love discounts and sales. Even if you say 10%, that's gonna entice people. Another like a slightly schemish thing that I know people do is like, let's say your product is worth 20 bucks. You're gonna put the price at 40 bucks and then just always say that you have 50% off. I know it's schemish, but it works. Yeah, overprice it and get 49% discount. Yep, that is an option. Awesome. 451 and I have the same thoughts. Um, Going back into distribution strategy, we have we have how to bring your product to the audience. So, for example, I don't know how this will relate to the videography example, but maybe if we have um, software for college students to manage their classes, for example. Um, Distribution strategy would be to go to different schools and give out the promo codes that 451 was talking about. Mm. So this, the thing that they are referring to, is a referral system. That is very good for, okay, so it's good for a lot of things. First of all, um, we have this thing called the Net Promoter Score. What this means is you like, you know those questions and surveys where they're like, how likely are you to refer us to your friends? Um, that part is a very hands-on way of saying, do you like our product? Because it's not just, do you like our product enough to use it? The Net Promoter Score says, do you like our product enough to talk about it with your friends? So that's an extra step there when it comes to referral systems. Now, if we go into sales strategy, this is, oh, discounts would go under here, discount for returning customers, oops, customers. This is where the sales strategy would go. Now for the marketing and sales forecast, this is a little iffy because forecast refers to how much money you're gonna make. I'll do this last. I'll do all the money stuff last because it's the most complicated and kind of intimidating part of the business plan. Excuse me. It's what probably the most intimidating part of a business plan. I don't want y'all to get intimidated, but ooh, reviews. 451 out here with all the ideas. Nice, 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 nice. Advertising, um, promoting good reviews. So we have that. Marketing exchange forecast will come back. Cool. Now we have operations. So part of me wants to skip these parts. I will give the definitions, but I will skip them partly because they are for later stage companies. If you're still starting out, you might not need to care about your company organization or your administrative expenses. Um, but I'll briefly go over like, okay, so operations is like, okay, if you need to do shipping, if you need to do discounts for posting reviews on social media platforms, make customers leave reviews by offering discounts. Cool. Thank you. So Rogue is good on ops, dev, and management. I'm honestly gonna skip it. If anyone else wants to go over them, I will. I will. Okay, we are at the last two sections of our business plan. So the summary of the okay, so the financials, you can Google any, so it's called financial projections. If you look that up, you'll see forecasting tools like QuickBooks. This is a template from Score. I like Score. Score is a good organization that helps with these stuff. Score is also a good place to find mentors if you're serious about your company and you want to take it a next step further. Score offers you free mentors. Free. So I like free stuff. So let's say this is your financial projections template. Um, just take it in. It's going to be a spreadsheet with a bunch of formulas. Just follow the instructions and don't touch the formulas unless they tell you to touch the formulas, because if you're not used to Excel or Google Sheets, if you break one formula, usually the entire spreadsheet breaks. So that's not a very fun thing to have to deal with. But going back to, go to market strategy. So we were talking about marketing earlier. My team and I did social media, paid advertising, like pay-per-click ads, and then referral system. That's what we did. This is the competition. This is the business model and financial projections. This is where we're at. So we are talking about assumptions, forecasts, capital requirements, financial risks, and exit strategies. Um, the assumptions that I made when I made these projections were that, so customer acquisition cost. I'll go over that for a little bit. It is the amount of money it takes to acquire one customer. That goes into the marketing. Like, how much marketing did you spend to get 100 customers? And then divide that by 100 to find out how many you spent for each customer. So if you have a marketing team, you have to pay them. That goes into your customer acquisition cost. If you have ad campaigns that goes into your customer acquisition costs, stuff like that. I had said that it's $11 to get one customer, which isn't the best thing in the world. But yeah, it's not the best thing in the world because I think we had said that um, it was $20 a month for uh, our pricing, and $11 goes to customer acquisition. So that's not the best thing, but it's okay. Live and learn. So the lifetime value is how much in the span of the time that it takes to give $11 for a single customer. It's not the scariest thing. I had a company spend, not my company, but a company that I know of that I'm friends with the founder of, so startup, um, $50 or something to acquire a single customer, but that's a little proportional to how much their product is worth. Because if it's $50 to acquire a customer, but your product costs $200, it's not that high of a price to pay. Um, so going back, lifetime value is how much money your customer will give you in the span of however long they're going to be a customer. Um, so let's say your customers on average stay your customers for 2-3 months, then that and the monthly is $20 a month. So the lifetime value would be $60 a month. Um, if you have people who buy clothes at a shop and they shop once a year and they go to your same shop like 3 years in a row, then that would go into the lifetime value as well. The final assumption that I had was like, oh, I'm going to get an investment of a whole $250,000 within the first year. That was presumptuous of me. That is difficult to find, but yes, the hardest thing is getting repeat customers for this industry. That makes sense because like if you have a video, like a special event that you want to record, chances are you're not going to have another special event for another while. So I can see where you're coming from. That is a little difficult. So the strategy there would be quantity over quality, like get as many customers as possible instead of retaining the few customers that you have. It's different per company. Like there are some companies that he found my he found my pitch deck. Oh, it's right there. Oops. Yep. Yep. Thanks, Nathan. Um, yes. So these are the financial projections. We have revenue, which is how much money you earn, gross profits, which I think are the same. Yep, it's the same. Total expenses is how much money you spent. That includes payroll, that includes marketing, that includes everything that you can think of that you spent, even just transportations. If you're taking Ubers, put that in your expenses. EBIT is earnings before interest and tax. Yes, I remembered. What this means is, yeah, just like how much you earn before the interest and the tax. Um, and then your net income is everything after taxes, everything after expenses. This is the money that you bring home. Okay, so there's that. I went through assumptions, forecasts. Um, Capital requirements would be how much money you need to start with, and then financial risks is how risky is your investment. Like so one of the more riskier industries is biotech because you spend years and years because like FDA approval and testing on animals and then humans, like stuff like that. That's a high financial risk because you got to put in a lot of money and not get a return for a few years. Whereas if you make a software like a mobile app, it's pretty quick. Like agile methodology dictates that you do it 2 weeks in a row, stuff like that. Or not 2 weeks in a row, like every 2 weeks. So that's less of a financial risk. But yeah, and then almost finally, we have exit strategies. So your options for exit strategies are so acquisition or publicly trading said company. Um, yes, so the acquisition is if someone buys you out. Like I know that Oculus was bought by Meta, Facebook at the time. That is an acquisition. The exit strategy was we sell the company for that to the highest bidder. Whereas a publicly traded company, you keep all of your rights as the owner of the company, but you share accountability with stakeholders, etc. The other option is to just chill. That's not an exit strategy because you're not exiting anywhere, but it's an option for like I just want to make I just I'm not trying to be super competitive. I'm not trying to bring a rocket ship to the moon. I'm just making money at my own pace. So that's what I mean by that. It's not an exit strategy, but it's a way to it's one path that you can take with your company. Cool. And then ooh, this is a tough one. Valuation. So offering is um, pitch to investors. So do I have something for this? No. No, I don't. It's okay. So the valuation of a business is a little tough because it's a little bit subjective. Um, in the sense that like how much do you think your business is how valuable do you think your business is if you think it's going to take X amount of years to blow up, and then once it's blown up, it'll stay blown up for X amount of years. And then how much money are you putting into it? But also, how much blood, sweat, and tears are you putting into it? Also, how many people are you bringing into it? So all of these need to be taken into account when you talk about the value of your business. This is valuation of business is also super important um, for when you exit for if your exit strategy is acquisition. You need to know the value of your business because that's how much you're selling it for. So yeah, um, I think that's it for. So I kind of covered everything that's in my little sheet, but I kind of sped through it, and I have 57 more minutes left. So if anyone has any questions, concerns, if anyone wants me to go over anything again, now is the time. Going once, going twice. I might. This is awesome. Thank you for this. You are so welcome. I know I had a relatively small audience today, but I hope whoever was watching um, learned a little bit today. Um, I wish I could have done better, but that's okay. This is a there's always room for improvement. Haha, walang anuman. Eh. And then okay, so I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna end the broadcast. But if um, anyone else has any questions, you can find me in the Discord server. And yeah, great job, everyone. I will see you. My last workshop is going to be tomorrow in 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think it's at 10. I think it's in like 20 hours. I don't want to confuse people with time zones. So in about 20 hours, I will be having my final workshop, my own final workshop on data visualization. So that might be something a little more helpful to other people who want a more technical workshop. But yeah. Yay, someone's attending. Awesome. And yeah, thank you for coming, everyone. Hope I was able to help. And I am good to go. Thanks, everyone. Bye bye. So it's creating an array of size